In today's video, I'm going to be planting out tomatoes. Now, I know last week we planted out peppers, and it's similar, but it is a bit different. Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to Robin's Container Garden. So in last week's video, planted out some peppers, and what we had to do with the peppers is we planted the top of the pot of the soil where they were is the level that they ended up being in the container. But the tomatoes are a little bit different. I'm going to show you a close-up video, but the tomato stems are a bit fuzzy, and within those little fuzzes, in the fuzz are potential roots. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant the tomatoes a little bit deeper than we normally would plant a new plant going out into a new container. And what we're going to do as we go along is we're going to rip leaves off. As they get bigger, we're going to pull the leaves off the bottom and then top it up, kind of like we do with potatoes, but we're not going to cover up the whole plant. We're just going to keep rising that the level of the soil in there with compost until we get it to a level where we want it to be. And last week I also planted the marigolds with the peppers, but I'm not going to be planting marigolds for two reasons with these tomato plants just yet. One reason is because I ran out of marigolds. So I planted some more seeds. And the second reason is because I want the soil level to be at its stopping point before I put anything else in the containers with the tomatoes. Now I'm not going to just put marigolds in the tomato containers. When we get to that point, I'll show you what I'm going to put. I'll put some other stuff in there, but one of the things that I'm definitely going to be putting in there, boy, they're really loud today. One of the things I'm definitely going to be putting in there is some basil. I've got some dark opal basil that I'm going to be planting with it. It's kind of a purpley color. And I'm also going to be putting in some lemon basil, which is a nice bright green color. But again, I've just planted those seeds. By the time they're ready to be planted out, the tomatoes will be big enough for me to be able to plant stuff in there with them. So we're going to get started and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm not going to go over the whole process again because you already watched the other video, so you know that I first will use my own compost on the bottom, tip compost in the middle, and purchased compost on the top. So this is one of my indigo, well, this is an indigo apple. I've got some other indigo apples I'm probably going to end up giving away. I planted them because I didn't think he was going to make it, but he obviously has decided to make it. So he's a bit unhappy in his little container here, so I'm going to get him, he's going to get a new home. So what I'll do is I'll dig a hole. I'll get it as deep as I can. I'll put a little bit of bloodfish and bone in there, a little bit of eggshell, and then we'll kind of go from there. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to just dig the hole, dig. And I put a rock at the bottom of this. I didn't realize it was going to be that shallow. So I'm going to end up having to top this up with a little bit more purchased compost before I finish this baby off. But I will put a little bit of bloodfish and bone down here. And a little bit of eggshell. I'm going to have to make some more eggshells. Well, I don't actually make the eggshells, you know what I mean. I'm going to have to process some more eggshells. So we'll take the label off. I'm going to be very careful because I don't have this one staked like I did with the peppers. So I'm going to have to just take this whole thing out at one time. Oh, be very, very careful. Come on out, buddy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay. Yay, I didn't kill it. Okay, now you can see that's sitting up quite high, so I will have to put some more compost in there. But he's low, considering that I've got the compost level quite low, so I'll top some compost up to about right here after I stake him. And I will also, as we're leveling stuff up, I'm also going to add some more eggshells in. With every new layer of compost that I put on top, I'll put a little bit layer of eggshells in there. So this is an indigo apple. He's a cotton tomato, and he'll hopefully have like a red top with some brown or dark red stripes that go up the sides. I really am excited to see what he produces. Looks like he may be gonna flower soon, so hopefully this is just the right time to get them planted out too, because it's a nice warm time for them. So I'll get these planted out, and then I'll show you the result. So that's it. I've got most of them planted out. I've run out of containers. I've got some more on order, so as soon as they come in, I'll get the rest of these planted out. So what we've got here is one of each of, where is he? Legend, which is a slicing tomato. We've got an indigo apple, which is also a slicing tomato. We have a crimson crush back here, which is also a slicing tomato. We have black cherry tomato here, which is a cherry tomato, obviously. Sun Gold is back here, and Cherry Baby are here. So my 3 cherry tomatoes are here, and the slicing tomatoes are here. Now, these guys, I don't know how big they're going to get, so I don't know exactly how tall the aubergine plants will be, so I may have to move the tomato plants behind the aubergine plants, but that's one of those things that remains to be seen. We will wait and see how that goes. I've put them in there. They've all got fertilizer. They've all got eggshells. They've had a nice water. They're not tall enough to stake yet. They're also not deep enough to stake it. I can't put the stake in there without it falling down, because I tried it. So, as my grandpa used to say, God willing and the creek don't rise, we shouldn't have any really bad winds before they get big enough to stake. And as we go along, I'll just be topping them up until we get up to about two knuckles below the rim. So that will give them plenty of room to spread out and grow. Some of them are looking a little peaked at the moment, but my peppers that were looking peaked are actually quite happy in their new home. So I'm hoping that the tomatoes will do that. I'm pretty sure that the ones that I had last year were the same kind of situation. They were quite peaked, but they were actually flowering before I was able to plant them last year. So these haven't started flowering yet, so I'm hoping that we'll start to see a little bit of flowering soon. And as soon as we can get the soil up higher, I'll put a couple of marigolds in with each, or some basil. One of the others going to go in here. Basil acts as a bit of a deterrent for pests. So does marigold, by the way. That also acts like a bit of a deterrent. But it also will bring, the marigolds will bring some pollinators around. So that's what we need. And I don't know if you can tell from where you're pointing here, but we've made it almost all the way to the greenhouse. I'll be moving the garlic around to the north side of the house in probably this weekend to give me a little bit more room, because I still have some corn to plant, and I've got some other tomatoes to go out as well. Now, whether or not they get planted out or I decide to give them away, I haven't decided yet. It will just kind of depend on how these guys do now that they've been planted in the ground or in their containers. I have one other container that I'm going to plant out this afternoon, and that one is going to have 2 Cherry Falls tomato plants in there. It's a bigger container, and they are not, those are determinate tomatoes, so they're like bush tomatoes, so they're not going to get as tall. They'll probably need like a 4-foot stake, but they're not going to get as tall as the indeterminates. I'm going to let them get to the top of their 6-foot stake, and then I'm going to top them. Last year I just let them grow and grow and grow, and I think that actually hindered ripening the tomatoes that we had on the plant. So my plan is to get them to the top of their stakes and then top them so they don't grow any taller, and then they can put all their energy into the fruit that's on them. Since I've got so many more tomato plants this year than I did last year, that's not going to be as much of an issue. I only had 2 last year. I had a slicing tomato and a cherry tomato, so I'll definitely have more tomatoes this year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you around and give you a little bit of a tour of the garden as it is, and you'll get to see kind of how things are shaping up now, because everything is really shaping up. This is June, so I can do a June little mini garden tour for you, and you can get a really good idea of how things are coming together. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you back here. We're first going to be around the front of the garden in the big veg bed. These are my Berlotti, no they're not, they're my French beans, Purple Queen. You can see some of them are doing better than others. I'm going to be getting rid of some of these not so happy ones and planting some new ones. This has been a bit of a challenge this year. They were in with the tomatoes last year and they did really, really well. But this year the slugs are getting them. So anyway, and over here you can see I've got a Cosmos and a Dahlia, and behind them is some marigolds. The lupin that I planted out is an ex-lupin. He's no more. You see here, these are my Grano Violetto broad beans. They've been tied up. I'm going to be putting some chicken wire up here to go across this bit so they have something else to grow up, because I just don't think that string is going to be strong enough. So they've been lashed on a little bit just to give them, just really loosely, to give them something to hang on to so they're not falling over. And these are the Berlotti beans. There's 3 nice big ones in the front that are already starting to climb, as you can see. And then there's some back here that I planted behind, and they're doing actually very, very, very well. So I'm gonna be those, and I've also got some more of the Grano Violettos back here that are starting to get big enough to lash on soon. And then I have these Masterpiece Greens. He's not looking so good, the one that's twisted over there. I don't know if he's gonna make it or not. I think he's kind of messed up there at the base, but I'm not gonna cry if he doesn't make it. We already have a flower on this one. So he's actually doing really well. And again, I've got more of them down here on the bottom, and like I said, hopefully they'll do really well this year. These used to be peas. They have been slugged and pigeoned. They are definitely not going to make it, no doubt about it. I've done a rethink, and I'm going to be planting these in a container. I'm just going to suck it up and plant them in a container and put some poles on either side and some chicken wire for them to grow up. So I don't know what I'm going to put here yet. I may put some more French beans, just to some of the Purple Queens, just to fill this in. And I'm also going to put some going to put some more flowers over here, and I'm also going to put some herbs as well. I think I'm going to put my sorrel around here as well. This is the pumpkin arch, as you can see. I still have to fill that bit in at the top. But I have cucumbers and sweet peas growing on the inside, and they're actually doing very well since I planted them out. The sweet pea on the far end there, he's not doing so great, but I'm not going to cry because these other ones are doing really well, and it appears that can't possibly be a flower. I think we've got a flower. That's nuts. Is that a flower? I don't know. I'm not sure. But we've also got them over here. Cucumber doing very well. Sweet peas a little bit pale, but they're still growing. This one's actually already reached out to the chicken wire. These are cucamelons. Not sure if they're gonna make it or not, but again, I'm gonna give it a shot. He's got a little bit of a runner here, so he may actually try. We'll see. Lettuce. This is Marvel of Four Seasons. That's Red Velvet. This is Salad Bowl, and this is Lola Rosa. It needs to be thinned. They definitely need to be thinned, but they're doing really well. I was a bit concerned about how they would do in these containers around here because I thought maybe the birds would eat them, but they seem to be doing really well, so fingers crossed. Now I've planted both of the cherry falls in this one container here. It's a huge container. I think it's probably, I'm going to say it's a good 20 liters, if not 15, 20 liters anyway. So I'm going to leave those around here for now until I can make some space around the back, because you'll see that I'm running out of room. And then we've got Courgette here, and he is the ambassador, the green one. So I'm just kind of letting the onions do their thing. I'm letting them do what they want to do. They're growing. They are not dying off, so they're actually doing really well. And of course my potato jungle is ridiculous. I cannot believe how big these potatoes are. And I'm not joking, and I know I'm short, but I'm not like really short. But like, this is one of my Pentland javelins, and it is waist height right here. This is waist height for me. And we do have flowers. Where did my flowers go? Oh, here they are. Here's my potato flowers. I'm gonna let them go for a little while, just to see what happens. And I see that my Pentland javelins are starting to get buds as well. So I'm just gonna let them flower and see what happens. I'm not gonna let them fruit though, because I don't want that out here. But there's some more really pretty little flower buds, and some more over here. So they are growing, and they are doing really well. And I mean, I really don't know what else to say about that. Here are my purple carrots and my red spring onions. They're getting on. They're really growing. And these are my regular orange carrots, the resistiflores, and some white Lisbon spring onions. This is spinach beet. It's like a chard, but it is fantastic spinach. And you know what? I think I might actually be able to clip a couple of those leaves off tonight and use them in dinner. This is what's left of my chard after the birds annihilated it, and I replanted it and they annihilated it again, so I'm gonna let that grow before I put any more in. This is my kale, my scarlet kale. I don't know what's happened here. It looks like right there, looks like there's been some activity, but yeah, that looks pretty good. And you know what's funny is that I think this is not kale, I think this is cress, and I might pull that out because I don't want it in there. I want kale in there. So, and this is my regular beetroot, the Bolt Hardy. You can see that it's had some damage, but they're still growing. So I've also got some new seedlings in there as well. So that's really good. And here is my bull's blood beetroot, which, look at those leaves, aren't they beautiful? They're so pretty and red and shiny. They're just gorgeous. That's had a little bit of slug damage too, but not as much as the other ones, and they have some new seedlings too. This is my peppers. These are a mixture of bell peppers and chili peppers. Like this one back here is chili pepper. It looks like he's got one ready for me to go, and I'm gonna have to move the camera here. And here we've got a huge Italian pepper. He is massive. He's a big one. So I'm gonna let him grow a little bit more, and then I might try to take him off and see what happens. But we've definitely got some peppers growing out here. They're getting bigger and doing really well, flowering and everything. And here are the aubergines. We have had some flowers. Some of them don't look so hot, but other ones look a lot better. I don't know if we're going to have any fruit on these particular flowers or not. I will wait and see when they drop off. I'll look to see underneath if they're doing anything. And here's the tomatoes. And I've already told you what's what back here. But I've got one more slicing tomato to plant. And that one is going to go in that little space right here. And he is Marglobe. I'll get him out as soon as I get the containers in. There's my corn, and the garlic is going, it's really doing well, what I've got left. We've had some garlic death. We've got one left in here. He's huge. I think he's going to be a really good one, and he's got a scape going right here. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, left in that pot. And they're not as big, but they were small ones anyway. And then I've got some over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 in here, and a lot of them have got scapes as well. So that means that they're doing well. They're definitely gonna give me some garlic. I planted 19, and I'll put up on the screen how many I've got left, but anyway. And this is what's left in the greenhouse. Not a whole lot. That's some sorrel and some tarragon that really needs to get planted out. That's red veined sorrel, and I can't wait to try to use that. And these are the leftover tomatoes. Like I said, I may give those away. I may keep them. I don't know. It depends on if I've got some space for them. Plus I've got some Arkansas Traveler tomatoes too to go out, and I've got this Marglobe here, so at least one of those is getting planted out in that space over there. These are some marigolds that I've got going. I've not got any seedlings up yet. These are my spare indigo apples. I'm probably going to give those away because I've got one, and that's fine. I've got some pansies, some marigolds, some sunflowers here that need to get planted out, and some more corn. And then we've got another aubergine plant. Don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. And then some other stuff down here. So, oh yeah, this is my baby boo pumpkin. My other pumpkins are inside because I had to replant them. So I'm hoping to get those planted out this weekend, at least these ones, maybe the other ones as well. So greenhouse, other than storage, is pretty empty at the moment. It'd be great if I had a drone that I could go over the house with, but this is the best I can do to give you a really good shot of what I've made of the space back here behind the house. This was all gravel. You've seen it before. It's all gravel, and now most of it, at least a few feet in from the back of the house, is used for growing space, and we're gonna have food out of this, and it's going to be very productive, I think. So that is from this angle, and this is from the inside of the greenhouse. So you can see these pots are right outside the greenhouse, maybe a foot away from the door, and that's looking down the way, all the way to where the potatoes are, where the garden box is sitting. So all of this space back here is being used to grow things, and I couldn't be happier. This is exactly how I had imagined it. As you can see, I have been a very, very busy girl. Everything around here has turned out probably 10 times better than I thought. I may have to do some rearranging, but that's the beauty of containers. You can move things around if you don't like where they're sitting. There may be some taller things that I need to put behind shorter things, kind of like the beetroot over here with the pepper in front. I may just switch those things around and have the shorter thing in the front to make it easier to get to water and to harvest. But like I said, that's the beauty of having fabric containers with nice big handles on them. You can move things around really, really easily. There's not a whole lot more planting that I've got to do left. I am going to be planting those peas that I was talking about before, and I've got some herbs that I'll be planting out soon, and the pumpkins as well. So the pumpkins is going to be a big one because I'm going to make some little collars with the copper tape around them to act as like a slug barrier, because it seems to be doing a dandy trick over in the front garden where the wildflower bed is, and I've got some sunflowers that I've planted out there, and they have not even been touched by the slugs. So I'm really pleased because that's a really heavy slug area over there where they're sitting. So it was really a test to see if that was going to work out, and it seems to have worked out. I've got some sunflowers left in the greenhouse that I may actually plant in containers and put up against the house, hoping that if I have to stake them, they won't blow over too much, and we'll get some nice sunflowers out of them. So that's really all I have for you this week. I don't know how long of a video this is going to be, but I want you to tell me what's going on in your garden. What is doing really well this year, and what is not doing as well as you were hoping? Are you planting something different that you've never planted before? Most of the things in this garden, as you see and you've heard me talk about many times, are things that I've not actually planted before, so this is all new for me. So I'd like to hear what things that you are planting this year that are brand new for you. We're making progress, and hopefully soon we'll start being able to harvest some things and start cooking with a few things as well. And until next time, stay safe, take care. Bye, y'all.